I'm Tamika Mallory.
And it's your boy, my son, the General.
We are your host of TMI.
Tamika and my son's information, truth, motivation, and inspiration.
New name, new energy, but
same old us.
Hey family, it's your girl Tamika Mallory, and you are tuned into the TMI show. And for today, I am holding down the set as in my host chair by myself because my son is actually in Fashion Week. He's in a show today for Daniel's Leather and is unable to be with us. Us little people over here at the TMI show, we stay together, but the brother has gone off to be in a fashion show. And of course, we are extremely proud of him. It is amazing when people celebrate the culture. Having him in the show today helps to elevate the cause for social justice, the cause for just to lift the culture up and make sure that we stay connected to the people who are out here doing real work. Obviously, my son is also an entertainer, so he's a raptivist, self-proclaimed. And, when you put the activism and the rap together, you get a dope brother who deserves to be in this moment and in his glory in the show. So I'm here holding down the fort by myself. We do have a pre-taped interview that we're going to be showing you all today. And so you will still get an opportunity to hear from him. But I'm going to have to kick these segments off and talk about things that are happening in this nation. And let me just start off by saying, if you're not paying attention, I don't know where you are. At this point, everybody should have their eyes on the constant, if you will, onslaught of just terrible things that have been happening in this country. I, for one, have been more quiet than ever, just kind of sitting with what I see every single day and knowing that our response to all of this is going to have to be strong. It's going to have to be unified. I heard my sister Monique Presley say the other day that we're not all sure how we're going to get through this moment, but what we do know is that we're going to have to do it together. And that's the only thing that we're sure about, is that our unity is the only strategy for addressing these very tumultuous times. And also, my son is not with us because he is walking in the Daniel's Leather fashion show. It's really becoming more and more apparent that there is a specific, very particular attempt to dismantle our communities. And just recently, I posted about the monies that the Department of Education have pulled back from what they call minority specialized educational institutions. So in other words, programs and schools that focus on particular groups of people, they have said that they're going to pull money back from it. That was announced on one day. It must have been throughout the weekend. I was seeing posts about $350 million that would be redirected away from institutions, again, that are focused specifically on particular minority groups. And then I saw this week that the Trump administration has redirected some funds from wherever, and they're going to have a major investment in HBCUs. And at first, when I saw the initial Department of Education announcement about the $350 million being pulled, I was like, they mean Black, because we're probably one of the most prevalent groups that have had to have schools and programs that are specifically designed to address our issues. That has been, a historic remedy for correcting some of the, what should I say? It is not just oppression, but the discrimination. There you are, the discrimination that has taken place with us as Black folks, as African Americans or Africans who were brought here to America, who were trafficked, stolen, trafficked, and abused here on this continent. We have had to have particular programs to focus on us, especially here in America, right? And so when you know that and you see an announcement saying that $350 million is being pulled from minority focused institutions, of course, it to me was very triggering. And I said, it's Black people. But then in the next few days, you see that the Trump administration is offering resources, or they're going to redirect resources to HBCUs. And people were like, oh, see, you guys are wrong. They do care about Black folks. And I'm just thinking, wow, we're living in a time where it's really like a 3-card Molly game, because what you see happening is that, and I'm specifically told that the Hispanic focused, or the Latino focused institutions and programs are being cut, and there's no funding that will be offered into those programs, that there's nothing that the administration is planning to do specifically for them. But then for the Black community, the HBCUs will receive XYZ dollars. And there's a lot of people who are going to celebrate that. And of course, we want our HBCUs to continue to be funded and to have the resources that they deserve. But a big part of this 3-card Molly game, instead of ensuring that everybody has the appropriate funding necessary to, to succeed and to excel, there is a game that they play where now they will be able to come back and say, well, we did XYZ thing for the Black community, and therefore we need to continue to receive the support of some of the Black folks who have been supporting this administration. And, I'm just sitting quietly in that, because on one hand, I know there are people who are like, well, as Black people, we have to focus specifically on the needs of Black folks. And at this point, there are a lot of people who are saying, we want to see everybody do well, but we are tired of being left out, or being grouped in with everybody, and then we as Black people do not receive our fair share. And so there's some folks out there who are like, we're good, it may not be perfect, but let's stay focused on protecting our communities. There are other people, and I tend to be one of them, that yes, I want to see Black folks strong. I want to see Black folks receive what we deserve. I want to see Black children able to excel and succeed. I want all of that. But I also know that the 3-card Molly game is very dangerous for our society as a whole. And I know that we are dealing with a trifling group of people who are very transactional, and there is a very specific strategy that they are working through. And I hope that all of us are just eyes wide open and able to see and understand what's going on. And so when you have that juxtaposed with the idea that more than 300,000. There's a larger number that I cannot wait until this number is finally able to be released to the public. And it's not that I'm excited about it, but I want people to understand the depth of where we stand. But that more than 300,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce in the last several months. When you have that and you're holding on this side, you got some funding for HBCUs, cool, but we're losing jobs. We're having to leave the workforce, contracts, and believe you, the number is undercounted, because there are people who are it's not being reported. They're not on anybody's spreadsheet. They're not in the data. They are just missing from the system, hustling, trying to figure it out. I am meeting people who are PhDs, who were running departments, whether it be in the federal government, whether it be in educational institutions, whether it be in corporations, working their behinds off. They are 60 years old, 55, 60 years old, and they have now been terminated, and they're trying to find jobs doing anything, cleaning, cooking, retail, just so they can have enough money to be able to keep their lights on while they figure out what's next, and while they, try to, stabilize themselves and maybe learn new skills. It's a real dangerous moment. And I hear people all the time saying, well, we should just, just build our own. Granted, we have to. We know that. We have to. And there are a lot of people out here who are doing exactly that, working to build their own, working to collaborate with other groups and to try to find ways to maintain and to excel, right? And to hire their own people and all of that. But people still need to keep their lights on, groceries in their refrigerator. They need to keep their cars on the road. They need to be able to turn a key in the door. They need to be able to survive. They should be able to actually enjoy life as well. And so while we figure this all out, there are a lot of people who are hurting, and Black women may be the most significant group of people who've been pushed out of the workforce. But Black men are right behind us, which means this is an intentional effort to dismantle our communities, to dismantle Black women, to dismantle Black families, and to dismantle our communities, our futures. It is a dangerous moment. So ain't a lot of talking to be done because we already know the issues. What we have to do now is go from talking to action, and trust and believe there are many of us who are sitting with, planning, and organizing on a regular basis to figure out what we do and to figure out how we move in this moment. And also, we are grounding ourselves in the idea, in the notion, in the understanding that this is not just a political fight. It is a spiritual fight as well. And when you're in a spiritual battle, you know that you move first, the silence that you need to hear from your particular spiritual guidance, because you're up against another evil spirit. You have to ground yourself in that and prepare yourself for a struggle that is going to be bigger and broader than just who we vote for and who we elect. There's an unleashed beast that is moving throughout this world and certainly throughout this country. And once you unleash that beast, you can't bottle it back up. And not only can you not bottle it back up, it spreads. It's not going to just stay focused on harming the people that you might want it to harm. Once you unleash the beast, it swings. The pendulum goes back and forth, and it swings in your direction as well. So, I am, again, just very introspective right now, just sitting with my stomach, with my spirit, what is telling me. And I also am grateful for all the people who are meeting and getting closer. Even some of us who never talked before or didn't like one another, we're coming closer because we know the fight we're up against is real. It's hard, but it's only going to work if we fight together. So there's that. Now, let me tell you about my thought of the day. And I am going to let us get to this powerful interview so that you don't have to just hear me talking, because I know you all are used to having my son and I going back and forth. Thought of the day today is something that is really troubling to me. And we're going to be talking about it more as, we continue to, as we continue this podcast, and also just our work every day, because it is something to be said about what I see happening, again, with Black women. I want to read this to you all because it startled me so much. And the reason why it startled me is because I keep seeing this on my feed from different people, different Black women, different pages. And so when I read this, that NBA star Naz Reid um, has a sister, or had a sister, God bless, named Torea Reid. She was shot by her boyfriend in New Jersey and killed. She was shot by her boyfriend in New Jersey and killed. The NBA star Naz Reid, his sister Torea Reid, was shot and killed by her boyfriend in New Jersey. And the reason why, again, this thing startled me is because the last several weeks, I don't know about y'all, but I have been seeing over and over Black women who are either being killed by a Black man or a man, a man, a man. Some, and in many cases, it has been a Black man, but a man. Um, or maybe the girlfriend, or, the new girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend. But also, I just have been noticing that people are not like outraged, like what the hell is going on, right? Like this is a crisis, that something is happening where there are more domestic violence incidents, where people are dying, where Black women are actually being killed. And I don't really see like a whole bunch of folks, including celebrities or the media, everybody's saying, what the hell is going on? What is happening in the mental psyche of the men in our society, that so many of them are taking the lives of Black women? I just watched a video the other day of a man who got into an argument back and forth on live with his woman. She must, she was aggravating him. I could see where she's going back and forth, and they did, they were in the, but it doesn't matter. You get your shit, you walk out. You never come back if that's what it is. And they say shortly after they got off the live, he killed her, right? And then it comes so close to home for us because attorney Angelo Pinto, who is one of the co-founders of our organization Until Freedom, his grandchildren's mother was recently killed by her new boyfriend. So not or a new guy that she was dealing with, not by Angelo's son, but because they were not together, but the new person who was in her life killed her and killed himself. And they have two children. Not He doesn't have any children with her, the killer, but Angelo has two grandchildren with this, that came from his son and this woman, and she's been killed. And I'm saying to myself, we have a crisis here. And because we are so pulled in many different directions with what's happening with the administration, stuff going on in the nation, your free speech is now determined by whether or not you speak the right way about people who spoke hate over your life, right? Like this is the new thing that we're tussling with, people being fired from their jobs because they choose to share the words of someone who was hate filled and spewed hate about our communities. Like you being pulled in so many directions that you don't even have the time to sit with this crisis that we're seeing in this nation. And so my thought of the day today is to ask you all, are y'all paying attention? Do you notice it? Or am I tripping that Black women have been being killed at higher rates in domestic violence incidents this year? Like, I'm just asking because perhaps I'm tripping, but I see an an uptick, if you will, in actual deaths. I'm not saying domestic violence has not always existed, but when you have every couple of days post on social media showing that a Black woman has lost her life because some man has killed her, um, that's very scary. Black women missing, found to be killed by someone. And as I said, this NBA All-Star, to have his sister shot and killed by her boyfriend. And then I'm telling you the personal story about something that Until Freedom is dealing with the mother of our co-founders, grandchildren being killed by her new partner, not the son of our beloved nephew, if you will, not the son of our co-founder. This is very startling to me, y'all. We can't allow it to just continue. And as I said a few moments ago, once you unleash a beast, it doesn't just get bottled up and put back into the cupboard. No, it's out. The scent is out. It's moving. And so, unless we actually do something about it, I don't think it's just going to stop. And that means that the mental health experts, the prayer warriors, the Black men who know how to get in these pockets and talk to our brothers, there's gonna have to be some work done. And there's got to be some work done with our sisters to be able to notice the first time that this person might actually be dangerous, and to stay away, to make better choices, and not to be thinking that we got to be in relationships with people, because that is causing us to find ourselves in a situation that is dangerous. It is because of our need sometimes to be in relation with folks. You know, we're putting ourselves in danger, and it's very, very serious. And our sisters need to know the signs, but our sisters also need to be comfortable sitting alone if necessary. And so we need the men and the families and the spiritual prayers, the prayer warriors, and the mental health experts to do some work and work with our brothers. But we also need some of that mental health support, and the prayer warriors, and the women who know how to help women make good decisions, and the brothers who know how to talk to women about making better decisions. Being alone is okay if that's what you need to do. Just because that's your child's father does not mean that you have to be in a relationship with him. If another woman comes into the picture, you don't need to kill her, and you don't need to fight her. You need to move on and figure out something else with your life. And lastly, noticing from day one, when you see somebody who you know is making funny moves, saying things that make you feel uncomfortable, checking with your gut and getting away from a person who's dangerous, because these people are out here taking the lives of Black women. And I'm sure it's happening in other communities as well, but I'm seeing it more for Black women. And so it's scary. And I think that for us not to talk about it and to make it a big, 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 big issue is very, very, very irresponsible. And I won't participate in it, so I'll be talking about it more often. I know this is an issue my son has also been talking about, and that he cares so much about. And we've got to put a real highlight on it to ensure that this becomes the thing that we address, that we do not just allow to be the genie out of the bottle that just continues to move, and it ain't no good genie. So God bless y'all. I'm about to let you all see this powerful interview, so you all won't have to sit and listen to me run my mouth, because I know you're used to, hearing from my son and I. I have a powerful interview that I want you all to see. Actively Black. I got my Actively Black on today. An amazing, incredible experience at their most recent fashion show. That was not a fashion show. It was an experience. It was super dope. And we've got the great designer, the great strategist, the great community supporter, community leader, our brother Lanny Smith, who is the founder of Actively Black, along with his co-founder. She won't be on, Miss Bianca, but I have to make sure to mention her. But we have this great interview coming up with Lanny Smith, and you all will get to hear from him. So that's coming up. And so, as I said to you, we'll be back next week. My son will be back. He'll be in here talking about all his issues and what he doesn't get in society. But for now, I am going to have you all to really be able to tap into the culture with our brother Lanny Smith. This powerful interview. I was just so taken by my experience being at his show, but then even in this interview, his passion comes through, it shines through in such a great way. So Lanny Smith is coming up now. You guys check the interview out. All right, so today we have another friend with us,
Yes, we do.
the TMI show running conversation is that all of our friends are people doing great things, people we support, and we're really super duper 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 over the moon proud of Brother Lanny Smith. Who is the founder of Actively Black, and it's so exciting to have our brother here with us today. For those of you who don't know, first of all, Actively Black is a premium athleisure brand.
Go ahead. You said that.
That's right. The
Athleisure.
premium athleisure brand. I like to call it, as we say on this show all the time, that it is the black version that's better than Lululemon. So if you like
we go.
Lululemon, I was a Lululemon addict. Okay. And I put Lululemon down for various reasons, but I was really, really excited that I could put one thing down and find something with quality that in many cases, most cases, is even more just better quality even than that brand. So we didn't bring him on here to talk about Lululemon today and to compare brands, but I just want to make sure for folks who don't know that you get the context of what we're talking about, that black folks have a premium athleisure brand for all of your workout, and just because if you like me, you wear it every day.
Leisure. For your leisure.
You wear every day. That's my clothes. That's what I wear. And his beautiful wife, Bianca, is co-founder of Actively Black alongside of him. This brother was an NBA player who's turned into an entrepreneur. And I think what I'm attracted to the most about this brand is that Actively Black is not just a for-profit brand, but it also is a brand that is invested in other black people, black businesses, black communities. And that's what it's all supposed to be about. So, Lanny, we thank you so much for coming on with us today. So proud of you, brother. Thank you for being on the TMI show.
No, thank y'all for having me. I've told y'all this in person. Y'all been so supportive of me and Actively Black and what we've been building really from the beginning, and every time I see y'all rocking the brand. And so it's a pleasure to be here connecting with y'all.
No, it's definitely a pleasure, man. I remember back when I first got the brand, when I first seen the brand during I don't know if it was during COVID, but I know I had actively decided to support black businesses. And you were one of the first people that I seen that had quality clothing. And then when I actually got it, it was like, wow. And it became just like my everyday leisure wear, working out, everything. So I've always been supporting it. But what made you decide to start Actively Black?
Yeah, Tamika mentioned it earlier. I come from an athletic background. My dream was to play in the NBA since I was 4 years old. And I was blessed and fortunate to have that opportunity to sign with the Sacramento Kings in 2009. And unfortunately, 33 days after signing my first NBA contract, toward the articular cartilage in my left knee, I had 2 microfracture surgeries and my career was over with just like that. And so I had that initial difficulty with the transition of being an athlete and then trying to figure out what I was going to do next with my life. Went through the depression, the identity crisis, all those things, because I didn't have a plan B. It was make it to the league or bust. And then, I was busted, you know what I'm saying? So the first brand that I launched was called Active Faith with my friends, Anthony Tolliver and Steph Curry, who both men of faith that also played basketball and understood what I was trying to build with it. It was like trying to create a faith-based version of Nike, if you will. And so launched that out of my mom's house in 2010. No prior experience in business or anything like that, and just kind of learning on the fly. But I was hiding myself from the public knowing that I was the founder behind that brand, because I would say 65% plus of my customer base at the time was evangelical white Christian, which we know in this country can be synonymous with racist. And so I figured if they knew that it was this young black male behind the brand, it would negatively affect the business. And I had all these experiences that supported that narrative. I remember doing customer service and being on the phone, and the guy was like, "You sound like you black." And I was like, "I am." He immediately asked for a refund. You know what I mean? There were so many different experiences like that bothered me. And so I felt conflicted. You know, my parents raised me to be proud of my blackness, proud of my heritage, proud of my culture, and here I was hiding myself from people knowing I was the founder of this brand. And that I just I felt internally conflicted. So fast forward, um, the movie Black Panther came out in 2018, and I never forget just seeing, you know, this superhero on the screen that looked like me with hair like mine, with skin like mine, and seeing the way the diaspora came together around that film. And I remember walking out of that movie saying, "Man, I want to create a brand that makes my people feel the way that movie made us feel." Fast forward again, I put the idea on the shelf, moved to LA 6 months before the pandemic hit. And then we all saw the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and the response to it. And I saw all of these brands make all these performative declarations about what they were going to do for Black people. And it pissed me off because it felt performative to me in the moment. You know, we see now 4 or 5 years later, that's exactly what it was. It wasn't nothing but part of their marketing strategy at the time. But I felt like that's what it was in the moment. And I said, you know what, man, it's time for us to stop asking for a seat at their table and build our own table. You know what I mean? Because these brands have profited billions of dollars off of Black talent, Black culture, Black consumerism. And we really shouldn't have to ask for them to do the right thing and pour back into the Black community. But let's stop asking. Let's just build our own thing, and then we can feed our people the way we need to. So that's, you know, sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's really what led, you know, to me starting Actively Black.
No, it wasn't
It was a
long-winded at
beautiful
all.
answer.
It's important context, so that people will understand the thought process and the struggle of, you know, what it takes to get to where you are today, which you're not even close to where you're going to be. We know that. We can see that. But let me ask, going back to Actively Faith. That's what you called it?
Active Faith. Active Faith was the first one. Yeah.
Did you guys make money?
Yeah, I mean, we did the largest year we did was we did 6 million in one year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this was out of my mom's house, and it was weird because I was learning everything about business, about e-commerce, about all of this on the fly, but there were so many mistakes that I was making because I was learning this as I was building it. You know what I mean? Like starting it, I ain't had no money, so you know, to pay $10,000, $20,000 for a website, I didn't have that. So I went to YouTube University. I taught myself how to code my own website, taught myself how to use Photoshop and Illustrator because I don't have any design background. So even just to be able to make the mock-ups of the clothes, you know, I just self-taught myself through YouTube. And yeah, it's something, and I still own it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to actually figure out what the next steps are and what I'm going to do with Active Faith. There are a few people who have reached out about buying it. But that is a separate entity that, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do with that one.
That's beautiful. So fast forward, I was just so taken by this fashion show that we just went to. Like it was just amazing. Like you could tell that it was made with love, it was made with care, and it was Actively Black. What made you make this? Like it wasn't, like you said, it's not a fashion show. Like what was the mind state that you had behind this fashion show?
Yeah, so this was our third one. I hadn't done one since 2023. The first one I did was in 2022. We got we got a late invite to be part of an existing show, and they were just going to give us the last 15 minutes of the show to do something. And we came out and we did something. When I say similar, obviously it wasn't like what just transpired, but we just put the culture on the runway. You know what I mean? It wasn't your typical fashion show with just playing some music and having people walking like zombies in a straight line. You know what I'm saying? Like I really wanted to represent the culture on the runway. We came back 2023 with our own private hour and really killed it. I mean, we had Allen Iverson close out our show in 2023. You know, knowing what he means to the culture. That's really what it's always been to me. It really hasn't been a fashion show. It's always been like, how do I use this moment to tell stories? How do I use this moment to display the culture? And I promised myself after 2023 that I wouldn't even do it again. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you top that? How do you top Allen Iverson walking the runway in your fashion show? You know what I mean? And so I just started getting this pull to do it again. And we have all these incredible collaborations that we've been blessed to do. We've got collaborations with the Muhammad Ali estate, the Malcolm X estate, the Martin Luther King estate, the Tupac estate, the Bob Marley estate. We have all these different collaborations. And the way that we have executed them, I've been fortunate enough to develop, relationships with those families and with those estates. And so when I thought about doing this show, I was like, seeing how everything has been happening from the beginning of this year, from the new administration coming in, the attack on Black history, the attack on Black women, the attack on just Black culture, period. I was like, you know what? I know I said I wasn't going to do this again, but I think we need this. I think we need something like this, just as a moment of pride, as a moment of us telling our own story, regardless of what they take out of these museums, regardless of what they take out of these libraries. We can continue to share our own stories. We can continue to champion our culture. And that's what I really wanted this moment to be. And so that's why it was so intentional with the storytelling. That's why it was so intentional with all the clips that you saw play before the collection came out, because I wanted to make sure that Black history was being taught through the content that people were immersed in. So yeah, man, it was very intentional.
For folks who don't know what we're talking about, we are sitting in the midst of Fashion Week, and Actively Black's show just took place, and we were there front and center to see this incredible experience. It definitely was not a fashion show. It was an experience, and it was motivational and also very touching, especially because we know so many of the stories that we had an opportunity to sort of see it go from on the screen, which has been the reality for us. That Ruby Bridges, I'm in this work for a long time. I've never been in the same room with Ruby Bridges. And for those of you who don't know who she is, go look her up. And to see her come out and just all of the different people there, it's different from just showing the experience. It's showing the video of their speeches and or contributions to our movement than to have them present in the room. And I would love to hear from you, because I know Bianca plays a significant role. I'm sure that she does. I see exactly. The head shake is like, yes. How does that happen? Collaborations are one thing, but getting them there. I know Bernice King, who we love. That's when I cried finally when I saw my sister. That's our big sister.
That's our big sister right
to come out. Elyasa, love her. I know Bernice she won't go. You can ask. I've asked her to do stuff and she's like, I ain't doing that. That's just not her style. She shows up in places, makes an impact, and is not readily, or overly exposed. So right. How did that work? The coordination of the relationships and then the relationships to the show happening the way that it did.
Yeah. One, I think we live in an era where a lot of people approach relationships and networking in a way where it's like, what can I get out of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody always has ulterior motives. I think what has allowed us to develop these relationships with these different estates is I truly, truly went to them from a place of paying homage, you know what I mean? And not asking for anything, not trying to get anything out of it, but like really wanted to just pay homage to all of these estates. And I make a point to ask all of them for their approval for any product that we put out, any designs that we put out. I ask for their input so that everything feels authentic. You know what I mean? And I think that because we've approached it that way, they've blessed me with their trust, which is something that I do not take lightly at all. And you're absolutely right. Like, Delise, Bernice's assistant and close friend, she told me straight up when I first asked about this, she was like,
Bernice ain't doing it. I'm telling you.
She's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just flat out, she's not doing that. And Um, and
I'm
then
laughing because we know all too well
We
that she'll
know.
be like, nope.
and even Dr. Shabazz, even Ilyasa, she's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. She's like, yeah, I'll come to the show, I'll watch the show, but I'm not walking, I'm not doing that. And I got an opportunity to speak with all of them and share with them the concept of what I was trying to do, right? Because even they didn't truly understand what I was trying to do. They're like, you want me to walk on a fashion show? You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, it's not really a fashion show, and I had to kind of break that down and give them the full vision of it. And one by one, they came around and they were like, you know what, there's something special about this. I'm gonna do that. And Dr. King changed her travel schedule
Mm, mm. That's big
That
for her.
was
I'm
big.
telling you. We
to be
know.
there. And I'm trying not to get emotional because
We was emotional, so
We
I don't know
know.
how you did
But
it.
that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the reason why why I asked this question is because I know her well.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that she does not just move around. She does not think that that is the most helpful use of her time and or
right,
just like taking up space in the world. It's not her
right,
thing. It's not about it's not an ego thing. It's none
yeah,
of that. It's just that she feels like it's no there's nothing for me to go to this place for. Like, y'all do that and let me know how it goes and how can I contribute. That's what she
yeah,
asks me every time. How can I contribute? But she's not a person that likes to take up space everywhere. So for you to get her to
yeah.
change her life, to be there,
Yeah, it was
is
big.
huge.
It was big. It was so
And
big.
and here's the other layer on top of that, right? The shooting of the racist happened last week,
Mm,
and um everything just went on super high alert.
Yeah.
And I actually had to reconvince both Ilyasa and Dr.
After
King
that.
to do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, because then it's like, this is why we
Because
don't
right
go.
now you can't. You can't be black right now. Like they making it seem like you not even supposed to have a black voice. You can't be. You can't feel a way. You can't love. You can't talk
exactly.
against racism. All it like we just actually have to be silent in black. We can't be actively black. They want us to be
That
silent in black right now. So
exactly, exactly. And so that added layer was like, we brought in extra security. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to assure them that I was gonna make sure we did everything possible to keep them safe. That's another reason why nobody knew that they were gonna be in the show. Like we made sure, like this is not something that gets out. It'll be a surprise when they're there. We're gonna make sure they get out safely. But like this whole thing was a surprise. But the fact that they both agreed to do it was something that um I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life, and I'll never forget Dr. King when she got in. She called me to come to her hotel room, and she literally grabbed my hand, her and Delise, and prayed for me, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and gave me a copy of her father's "I Have a Dream" speech, and she signed it for me, and man, I ain't gonna lie, man, I cried, I just cried. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm,
saying? Like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I just these are people who I grew up learning about. Martin and Malcolm been hanging on my wall my whole life. Um, Tommy Smith and John Carlos been hanging on my wall my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And even for them, I asked them both to do it, and they were reluctant. And this is the exact pitch that I told John Carlos and Tommy Smith. I said, Ilyasa Shabazz is walking to represent her father, Malcolm X. Dr. Bernice King is walking to represent her father, Martin Luther King Jr. Fred Hampton Jr. is walking to represent his father, Fred Hampton. Dreka Newton is walking to represent her husband, Huey Newton. I said, the difference with y'all is they are all gone. Y'all are still here. Do you know how powerful that would be for y'all to be there and recreate that moment that y'all did at the 1968 Olympics and put y'all's fist up on that runway right now in this time where what is happening is they're trying to take us back to the time that
You had to
is
do
what
that, yeah.
is what influenced y'all to do what you did in the first time. You know what I mean? The whole reason that y'all got up on that medal stand and raised your fist is because of what's going on right now and where they're trying to take us back to. And they both were like, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? So it just I'm still processing this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still don't even feel real that I haven't watched the show yet. Like
You gotta
me and
listen. You have to sell. It should be $5. I'm telling you. I've been saying this to everybody. I told Valisha, which we should talk about Valisha being in the show as well. But I said, Valisha, you have to call Lanny. You have to tell him that it's $5. That's it. You can make money. You can, redistribute it to other organizations or, a young designer or something. But you need to charge $5 to put that show out so that people, one, will take it seriously. And I know for a fact that folks are gonna go watch it. $5 is not a lot of money to be able to see it. We can't, the content is important, and sure, we should get it out there and the world needs to see it and whatever. But we got to start taking our intellectual property seriously. You know what I'm saying? Because that show is a history lesson for people who don't know. They need a notepad to sit with that. Because I know that there were folks who just came to a fashion show. They like Actively Black. It was cool. Somebody invited them, and they have no idea who most of the people were that you guys highlighted. But the other side of it is, as Martin's speech, Dr. King's speech, as it was going on, and he was talking about somebody told a lie one day, all around me, it was my son, Wes Bellamy, sitting on the side of him. There was a brother behind, and there was a brother this way. Everybody was reciting the words, word for word for word for word. And that, I went through a whole experience sitting there. And then our friends sitting behind us, they have a tech company. They are doing the same thing you're doing, pouring everything they have into it. Fan Meyer, they're doing a great job of growing it, but it's hard. And when you came out and you was emotional at the end, like you don't know what we've been through to make this happen. I look back and I could see the tears watering up in their eyes.
He told me yesterday, he said it was the best thing he ever seen in his life. He was like, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. And later on his wife said to me, I know exactly what he's talking about. Like, I know this is we're sitting in the middle of pouring our everything into this business to support our people, to build a brand that's not just Black, but it's by Black people for Black people for sure. And we know how hard it is just to get people who you would think they would support you immediately, and they do not.
Let me tell you something. There were moments where I stopped talking because there were certain things that I wanted to say, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use this platform to say that. I'm still going to say it, but everybody you can think of, so I'm not going to say no names, but everybody you can think of in Black culture that says they for the culture, or that says they building for us, or says that they support this, I invited all of them. I reached out to all of them. And so many of them that I expected to show up didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? Even outside of that, even like when I think about what your friend, those tears that she was feeling, and when she says, I know what he's talking about, like you're fighting on two different fronts when you're trying to build, when you're standing in the space that y'all stand in, when you're standing in the space that I'm standing in, when you're standing in these spaces, you're fighting against a system that doesn't want you to survive, let alone thrive. And you have to fight oftentimes even against your own people who don't understand, or who will throw the rocks at you, or who will try to pull you down from doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And there are times where you can just feel not defeated, but depleted. You know what I'm saying? Feel like, God, like I'm fighting for us, and you fighting me while I'm fighting for us. That's right. And I got to fight this devil too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm fighting on both ends, And there's times where it just feels deflating. You know what I'm saying? I had a video that went crazy earlier in the year, and people thought I was talking about, that I was hating on Ralph Lauren and these other brands. And I'm like, man, y'all missing the message.
Right.
What I'm trying to get us to value us. It ain't even about, you could change the name. It could be Louis Vuitton. It could be Gucci. It could be whoever you want it to be. It's not a comparison of brands. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to get us to value us the way that we value everybody else. The McKinsey report released last year says Black people spend $30 billion collectively a year on apparel and shoes. We don't have a single $1 billion apparel brand that is Black owned. Collectively, we are spending $30 billion a year, and we don't have a single $1 billion apparel brand that's Black owned. So if you're looking at what we're doing and you're seeing, oh, he's hiring Black talent. Oh, he's giving back to Black communities. Oh, he's creating Black mental health events for Black men. He's supporting Black Mamas Matter, supporting this abysmal maternal mortality rate for Black women who are dying during pregnancy at 3 times the rate of anybody else in this country. He's paying for Black kids code so Black kids learn how to code. Like, if you're seeing that a Black brand is doing all those things, and
you
can't
say you for Black,
that?
yeah, you said you for the Blacks, and you don't put, but that's the reality that we deal with, and I understand exactly how you feel because we deal with it every day. Like, the biggest fight is against our own people. Like, and I was listening to you when you said that it was so many Black people that told you not to name it Black.
Yeah.
Like, don't name it Black. Don't name it Black. And that's the mind state that we don't, like you said, we don't see the value in us. We're scared that because we embrace us, that it won't be big.
Yeah.
It's not going to have the same level of success because we embrace us and we love on our own stuff and our own people. So it's
you know why that's crazy? You know why that's crazy? Sorry to cut you off. One of the reasons why that's crazy is that whatever Black culture creates ends up becoming global
mainstream.
Anyway.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's
Whether
right.
you want to embrace it or not, that's what happens. Hip hop wasn't created and it was like, yo, let's try to make sure everybody likes what we're creating. It was Black and brown kids creating hip hop too as a form of expression for what we were living through, for what our experiences are, what our perspectives are. And then it still became something that is global. There's breakdance competitions in South Korea. You know what I'm saying? Like, every culture it imitates our culture.
Yeah.
So why do you think that if you create something that is celebrating and honoring our culture, that it limits its scale, its scalability? Everything we create becomes mainstream.
Well, I'm
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to tell you why. Because we lack an understanding, and these people, the oppressors, if you will, did a very good job. They say Willie Lynch letter is not real, but it certainly is real in sentiment, because we lack an understanding of our history. When some white women can start wearing cornrows, and all of a sudden it's the most, everybody is fly. It's, oh my, the Kardashians, they got the cornrows, this person, these white people. And meanwhile, the cornrow was created to actually hide food, rice in Africans' hair. Exactly, to sew in rice in the Africans' hair. If you don't know that history, then it will actually seem like something new and fresh and fly when it comes up, on another person's head who has millions of dollars and they're on TV, or they've got, a booty that has been designed to look like the booty that your mama, your grandmama, your aunties had, and they don't even want that booty. That booty is carrying too much junk in their trunk, but they, they're stuck with it, so to speak. Other people trying to get the booty. And so it's because we don't understand our history, and that was done to us on purpose, because when you separate a people from their roots, you separate a people from their history, then you can tell them anything, sell them anything. And that's what's happening. And then at the same time, before you go, because we don't want to hold you too long, but we could sit and talk till tomorrow. Till tomorrow. But just thinking about that, here we are now with more than 300,000 women who are Black women who have been pushed out of the workforce. And just to be clear, there are other reports that are coming out that is showing that the numbers are actually even higher. But we got to wait until all the research is done and the reports come back. But it's showing that the numbers are higher because there's a number of people who've been fired. There's a number of people who left the workforce, and there's a number of people who didn't have jobs already who were trying to find work, and they still have not been able to get back in the workforce. So when you add all of that, there is a serious crisis happening in the Black community. And by the way, Black women are number one because we are being punished for the way we vote and the way we think. That's why they said anti-DEI. Everybody went around arguing about, the data shows the white women. When they said anti-DEI, they was talking about Black people. That's what they meant when they said anti-DEI. But just to be clear, because I know some of our people or some of our brothers are like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Oh, no. It does. Because Black men are number 2 in terms of job loss, right? There is and I want to be mindful not to use the word attack, because probably can't get that on YouTube now, because you can't say attack. If you say war, they're now making all of those words criminalized when we say it, but they can say it. They can say it, but we can't. But there is a movement, an intentional movement to dismantle and destabilize our communities. And what we know is that, yes, our tax dollars should circulate back into our communities in terms of services, funding for our programs, jobs within the federal government, the local governments, and all of that, definitely. But what is going to sustain us is Black businesses like Actively Black and other businesses where our allies understand the importance of keeping us employed, helping us build new brands and new businesses. So I don't know, we talked about this in Martha's Vineyard. I don't know what people are thinking or if they paying attention, but it feels like you're in a bubble when you in the Super Bowl, when you like, y'all see all this? And they're like, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay.
Yeah. Nah, it's real. It's something that, I think it's a James Baldwin quote where he talks about being conscious and you being in a constant state of rage. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're aware of what's going on.
To be Black and conscious is to be in a constant state of rage.
Yeah. And it's like, because you're conscious of what's going on, you can't ignore it. Right. I can't ignore it. Right. So then when you're seeing people who are not conscious of it and they just walking around like, like ain't nothing happening, it drives you crazy. And so that's the same thing that I talk about even with the people who had the criticisms even about Actively Black and our pricing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, listen, we building something out the mud. Like we don't get the same access to capital and resources that my white counterparts get. So when you're buying this hoodie or this shirt or this product or whatever the case may be, it's not just about that shirt and not just about that hoodie. It's the fact that, guess what? I'm able to employ Black people. The bigger that I can grow Actively Black, that's somebody's salary.
That's right.
That's somebody's benefits and insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not thinking about the bigger picture. You're just comparing it like, man, well, Polo been around for 50 years, so why are you No, you still missing the point.
Yeah.
If we can build, if you see what Actively Black is doing right now, if we're giving back this much to the community right now, what you think we can do if we're $1 billion company? I don't want us to be $1 billion company just so I can be a billionaire. I want us to be $1 billion company because how many Black people can we? Man, Nike employs at least, I think it's like 50,000 people that they employ. Imagine having a Black brand that could employ all this Black talent. You could go to work, ain't got a code switch. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about the microaggressions that you got to face in corporate America because they want you to minimize your Blackness. You could come work at a company that embraces who you are. That's what I'm trying to build. Like, And we actually have the power to do it once we can get enough of us to understand who we are, to understand what our power is collectively. We can actually do it. And I think that's why, the tagline for Actively Black is there's greatness in our DNA. I'm actually trying to deprogram us and reprogram us to understand who we actually are. I grew up on Nike. Just do it was implanted in my brain, into everybody's brain, so much so that things that didn't have anything to do with the actual product, you still remember that tagline. You had a test you had to do. You had a big basketball game. You had something. You was like, you know what? Just do it. Just do it. Now, what about a whole generation of black kids, black boys and girls growing up? There's greatness in my DNA. There's greatness in my DNA. That ain't got nothing to do with this hoodie. Nothing. But then when you're facing the adversity you got to face in this society, when you're thinking about what you're trying to build for your family, when you think about how you need to carry yourself, when you think about the movement that my son has been championing as far as boycott black murder, and you're thinking about, man, we share DNA. Man, why should you be my op? You know what I'm saying? There's greatness in our DNA. If I can get our people to if I can deprogram us and reprogram us and understanding what we really are, who we really are, that's when we can really change things for ourselves.
Well, you done said a word, my brother, man, and you got our support. We're gonna be with you, in the trenches with you,
That's right.
And I just want to commend you on your growth and evolution. Just watching you constantly put on for our people and growing. And the clothing is just dope. Let them know where to get the clothing at.
Quality. Talk about the quality too.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad you asked that. I was very intentional in making sure that our people could buy Actively Black and not have to feel like they had to sacrifice quality. Unfortunately, the stereotype is if you buy black owned, you got to sacrifice quality. Some of those reasons are because of the same systemic racism and oppression that our people have been facing, where we don't get the same access. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I wanted to make sure that our people could put this on and feel proud and feel like, oh, this feels like my Nike. This feels like my Jordan. This feels like my Lululemon, and feeling like, yeah, I can stand up next to anybody else wearing what they wearing. And I can say, well, mine is a black owned brand, and I know my money is going back into my community, and the quality is dope, and the design is dope. So, we're very intentional about that.
Well, it's not that expensive. So I just want people to stop that lie. No, it's a lie that it's too expensive.
No way.
We are knocking Gucci down, knocking down the door. I wonder if you do an analysis, if we did an analysis of how much money they make off black people, because I see Gucci everywhere. Now, some of it is fake. It's Tucci with a G. But nonetheless, even the attempt to have it on, right? The attempt to have Chanel, I have it. So I'm not talking down on other people. I have it. Right. Every brand, Dior, I have it. Hermes, I have it. I have it. So for me to go to a website and see a $200 sweater or some $80 leggings and to complain about that, like I will be playing myself, because I'm not complaining about it. Lululemon is mad expensive, bruh. When I used to go to Lululemon, there's one in Atlanta across the street from a hotel that I like to stay in. So I always stay there because I could get to my malls and, all my stuff. So Lululemon, I walk there every time. I walk out of there with $800 worth of stuff, and it's one bag, maybe two bags, and maybe something wasn't available, so it's coming in the mail. It's not that you don't get that 2-3 sweaters. You at $800. So it's not that expensive. The one complaint that I have is it ain't all on the site. I need all that stuff that was on that runway to be on the site.
Oh.
Bro.
Starting today, it will be. So there was a lot of those collections that will be rolling out. The Basquiat collection is not coming out until December during Art Basel, but the collections we have with the King Center, with the Shabazz Center, those will be on the website later today. John Carlos, Tommy Smith, that collection is going to be on the website today. We're going to be rolling some of those things out, and you can find it at activelyblack.com. All of our social media is Actively Black, and we're gonna continue building this thing out. We're working on putting together
the
a tour, a
sneakers and
pop-up tour.
I seen you had the sneakers
That's
on.
their own special
You know
thing.
what I'm
I
saying?
bet.
I seen you
Hold
had
on,
the
hold on. Shout
slides
out to
and
my
all
man
that.
Saya. Shout out to my man
Side Collective.
Devlin at Saya Collective. So that's actually, we're debuting a collab
Oh,
between
okay.
Actively
Both,
Black and
and
Saya.
those are both of y'all. I love both of y'all. Side's my guy too. I always been supporting him. Just see, that's what it is. It's collaboration and building, and this is how you create generational wealth. And you just start building your own, man. I love it, man. We gonna always support.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want the bathing suits though. Those were cute. I like the bathing suits. It was a lot of cute stuff that was up there that, like we need it. We need it. I'm ready to get in it. I love it. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you for coming on. Don't be worrying about these people. I was getting ready to give you some more work, but I know it's too many things. But I was going to say, if people buy a thing, maybe they could see the show as a part of their purchase, right? And then that would make it make sense. Because if you buy a thing, then you get the link to the show. But if you just trying to,
that.
That's dope.
that's what I do. If you want somebody to help you think, call us. And that's what we do.
I might have to do that. I like that. I was thinking about doing even a live stream type of situation and have it to where everybody on the same day we were watching it together, and just even hearing my commentary on how we put the certain things together. I got some behind the scenes footage that we editing right now that we're going to put out as well. A lot of people have been asking, like, how did you come up with this? How did you put this out? So I definitely want to give people an inside look at how we put this whole thing together.
All right, my brother, take care. Thank you. And God bless the new baby and the family. Y'all look great. You are great. And there is greatness in our DNA.
Yes, man.
Actively Black.
Actively Black.
Y'all so much.
Peace. When I was thinking about how people told them not to use the word black, I really understand. I do. I truly do. People are like so tired of being attacked. They're so tired of the backlash that comes at us. And so it makes people kind of feel like, oh my God, if you say black, then nobody's going to buy it. But what I realized is that as I was listening to him and I started to really channel some energy from the ancestors, and I'm thinking we have to claim and hold on to our heritage. Because if we don't do that in this moment, we will be silenced to the point, like you said, silence black, right? We will be silenced to the point that our history will be erased and diminished so far that the next generation will be worse than the one we have now that doesn't really know much about the history of like who we are, where we come from. We have to have people who are willing to hold on to the heritage and to keep the story of our blackness and our DNA front and center. That's hard work. And that is one of the reasons why everybody should support this brand and this family and what they're doing. I was going to post, and I'm terrible. I'm always days behind stuff. But I was going to post that every single celebrity in America, black, needs to be African, whoever you are, wherever you are. If you like to come here, they need to be at that show, wearing their stuff, and supporting this brother and his family in any way that they can. And I was going to post that and say it. And now I want to say it directly. If you are a celebrity and you are not up on Actively Black, get there and support and show up at the show, because it makes a difference when Tyrese is there. It makes a difference. People said Lauryn Hill was there, but I didn't see Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, they did say. I didn't see it either.
Tyrese was there. It makes a difference. Felicia walking in the show. That's right.
Yeah,
this is important. It was important. So that's how I feel.
No, I've been locked in with Lanny for a while. He's just listening to him. You understand what I'm saying? His passion. And he understands, he really comes from a place of really wanting to do what's best for our people and want to be an example of excellence and in something that's powerful.
Right.
Like you see it. Like when you get those clothes, when you have these clothes on, you feel that is love put into these clothes, and they look good, they feel good, they represent us in a proper manner. So, anything I can do, I'm definitely going to make sure that I do to support this man. Make sure activelyblack.com, go get you some of that gear. It is like, matter of fact, I think they had a sponsorship for Black Panther. They did like a Black Panther brand in one of the I think the last Black Panther movie. Some of the clothing, they had clothing that was inside.
I mean, they work those partnerships.
Yeah, they working, man. They work
those partnerships. But it shouldn't be a discussion of back and forth. Like, we should just be like, oh,
that's
actively black. That's our stuff. That's it. But we'll say, oh, but I don't like him because one time I was at the thing and he looked at me and I don't feel like he would. The same thing with the same thing with fan base. Oh, Isaac, he said this and then, bruh, like what?
That's where we at.
The people okay, they pissed you off. Cool, I get it. The other people are racist and want you dead. And you buying their stuff, eating their food, wearing their stuff, living in their places of their business, their buildings. We should stop.
Definitely should stop.
And as my song would say, if he was here, I am not going to always be right and he won't always be wrong, but we will always be authentic. Peace.
That's how we own it.